It's Carter Sports back, and today we finna talk about the defensive lineman that's out there in the portal, not named Derek Harmon and Dominique Williams. So let's go. And if you been here before, can you please hit that like, please? And if you ain't subscribed, boy, you better subscribe. Trojan family, Trojan gang, fight on forever is in the building. And today we gonna talk about what defensive linemen out there in the transfer portal, because you know USC is thirsty for defensive linemen right now, especially defensive tackle and nose tackle. What is going on? We ain't signed nothing yet. USC playing or USC just ain't paying. Either way, it sounds like they playing, right? I don't know, but I would say this: if we can't go big game hunting, we gotta pick out defensive linemen, tackles, those tackles in the portal that got potential. Now, a lot of these players that I'm gonna bring to you, right? They got potential. They ain't necessarily proven on the field, so they stats ain't there yet, right? None of these players got stats that's there yet. You look at and say, okay, all these players got potential though. All these players got the potential to be as good as a Derek Harmon, to be as good as a Dominique Williams, right? They have this potential. One of the players I want to talk about is Taffi Thomas, a 6'4", 300-pound defensive lineman out of Louisville, right? Was nicely recruited. He was a good recruit coming out of high school. Ain't been able to see the field that much. I think he had an injury his freshman year. Didn't really play too much his freshman year or his sophomore year, right? He had injuries and some things and whatnot. He hasn't reached his ceiling yet, but he got that prototype body to play D tackle, nose tackle. 6'4", 300, has the potential to ball. Can he get coached up right? He got the talent, he got the ability, he got the weight and size. Can he at least be coached up to be average, to be subpar, to not be able to get pushed off the line, to at least hold his ground and at least make sure we ain't get ran through in the middle? Like, you don't need Aaron Donald to not get ran through in the middle. You need Aaron Donald to cause wreck and get tackles for loss, but you don't need Aaron Donald to be competitive, right? To not get ran up the middle. We don't need Derek Harmon or Dominique Williams not to get ran up in the middle. Now we need Derek Harmon and Dominique Williams to cause wreck and get tackles for loss. But at this point, we just need players who gonna hold their ground. Taffi Thomas should be able to do that at 6'4", 300 pounds. Then you got Darius Brown, 6'3", 305. Now, Darius Brown, 6'2", 6'3", 305, right? He got redshirted out of Texas Tech. He got redshirted, didn't get to play. So it is all potential, not proven. But another kid to look at that got the prototypical size and potential that you would like. You wouldn't mind, USC wouldn't mind signing this kid to their 2023 class. They would have took his commitment to Darius Brown. Then you got Curtis Perry. Curtis Perry was 6'2", 287. Another kid that got redshirted. 4-star coming out of high school, was balling. Coming to Alabama as a true freshman, it's gonna be hard to see the field, especially at defensive line. Especially on the interior defensive line. right? Another player with uber potential, just hadn't proved it yet. So you like USC trying to compete next year, Carter, why you bringing us these unproven players? Because they got potential just like any other player, right? And since we ain't grabbing the top talent, and we got to get something. I'm bringing y'all guys because we need something. Whether it's proven or potential. Of course you want to get proven, but if we can't get proven, we got to get potential. So think about on the inside, all we got is Bear, Nate Clifton, Kobe Pepe, and what, Elijah Hughes. If not, we got to play true freshmen, G.Day Abasiri and Carlin Drones, true freshmen. And on top of that, these guys I'm naming in the interior, Nate Clifton and Elijah Hughes is really defensive ends. Like, let's keep it real. They really defensive ends. But we so weak in the interior, we got to play them there because they such ballers, they could do it. But they not going to have the same impact on the field as they would at defensive ends. At defensive end, they got B+, A+ potential. But in the interior, they ceiling probably C+. Let's be honest. Now Nate Clifton, his ceiling in the interior probably a little higher. But at this point in Elijah Hughes' career, I don't think that we want him as a nose tackle or a D tackle. I love Elijah Hughes, but I feel like his quickness and the way he built, I feel like he should be a defensive end. I don't see him drawing double teams and pushing 350 pound linemen in the backfield on run plays. I don't see that at this point in his career. And just like I said, Nate Clifton, a defensive end coming out of Vanderbilt. So we got to slide these guys inside just because we so thin. I want to be able to kick them guys back out to the outside to get the best potential out of them. I don't want no more Stanley T situations where a player getting played out of position. And that is hurting his future. That's hurting his draft stock, right? So Curtis Perry, Darius Brown, Taffi Thomas is some guys that could naturally play on the inside, and we can kick these guys to the outside. Right? Then you got Will Norman. Will Norman, a 6'4", 300-pound freshman out of Florida. Right? I made a video about him when he hopped in the portal out of Florida, and then he went to Marshall. He was at Marshall after spring. He hopped back in the portal again. Hey, this is college football. This is what it is these days. Either we gonna get used to it or just keep complaining. So he back in the portal with uber talent. Another kid like Curtis Perry was a 4-star coming out of high school, got redshirted in Florida. Right? Uber talent, 6'4", 300. 4-star coming out of high school, redshirted his first year. This is a guy that we can slide in on the roster that we should look at, since we can't go big game hunting, or even if we like. So let's keep it real. If we do get a top defensive tackle, it's gonna be Derek Harmon. I don't know who else out there as far as defensive tackle that's coming, that's visiting USC, that's looking at USC. So even if we get Derek Harmon, now that's Derek Harmon and Bear. Behind them will still be Nate Clifton and Elijah Hughes, right? So that, and you got Kobe Pepe. So Nate Clifton might still be behind, right, in the interior. I want to get enough depth so I can have Clifton and Hughes playing defensive end. So even if we get Harmon, we still at least need one more player, right? And you want him to be proven, even though these are potential. That's where CJ West come in. CJ West out of Kent State, 6'2", 315 pound defensive tackle. Had 20 solo tackles last year, 2 sacks, a forced fumble. Now he ain't gonna be a sack machine, but he can plug up the middle. he could plug up the middle with Bear and he's strong, right? I would feel comfortable and better if I got Bear, Harmon, and I got CJ West behind both of them. CJ West behind Harmon, right? Then we could throw somebody behind Bear. Then, you know what I'm saying, we looking a little better at our 2 deep. We ain't gotta have Clifton and Hughes inside there. We could have CJ West or Will Norman backing them up, right? Or Darius Brown or Curtis Perry, right? Or Taffi Thomas, right? So I would take these kids, and we should take a look at these kids, because if Coach Henny that dude, right? So I brought y'all, let me see, I brought y'all Taffi Thomas, Darius Brown, Curtis Perry, Will Norman, and CJ West. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 defensive linemen, right? One of them kind of proven, CJ West, 4 unproven, right? So I'll book CJ West in as a contributor watching his film, right? Now out them other 4, if Coach Henny can develop like we think he can develop, out them 4, 2 of them should pop, right? Out them 4, 2 of them should pop, right? So we got CJ West, who I believe will contribute, and at this point, if he can, he probably start along with Bear. He will be that nose tackle, right? Now, out of the 4 other dudes, Will Norman, Curtis Perry, Darius Brown, Taffi Thomas, if we could get 2 of them to pop, right? Let's say it's Will Norman and Curtis Perry. Now, them are 2 former 4-stars, so if we get a 4-star to pop, a 4-star popping is a good player on a college level. If you a 4-star in high school and you playing like a 4-star in college, you starting or you in the rotation, you causing some wreck. So right there, we'll have 4 guys on the interior: Bear, CJ West, Will Norman, and Curtis Perry. I will feel comfortable, right? I will feel comfortable. I got 2 deep in the interior with good health, fingers crossed. We could live with that. That's enough. Them 4 guys can rotate, keep each other fresh enough to where we'll be good in the middle. I'll take that. So at this point, if we don't got the money to go big game hunting, then we need to get these players with potential and players who proven it maybe at a smarter school like Kent State that is begging for a shot that prove it on another level, right? So out of all these kids I just brought y'all, 1 already proven, 4 with potential. Out that 4, I'm confident Eric Henderson could get 2 to pop this year. And that's all we'll need. Get him in now. Summer, fall camp, I believe he can have them ready to pop. Right? So we got to get these kids in. But none of these kids that I'm showing y'all has scheduled a visit to USC. So that's what I'm panicking about. Like, okay, we got Derek Harmon scheduled and Tyler Bear scheduled, but we got kids scheduled that's a bidding war is on soon. And we know we ain't got the money like that, so why would we only try to get players on campus that's gonna have a bidding war, and we ain't getting the players on campus that got potential, that can ball, that's not gonna have a bidding war? Like, I feel like we think we better in the trenches than we really is if we only schedule Derek Harmon. I know we tried to get Dominic Williams, right? And I know we tried to get Jermaine Lole and other players, but we couldn't even get them for a visit because we ain't offering enough off rip. So if we ain't even offering enough for these top guys, we need to hoard these other guys that we can afford with potential. That's where coaching and development coming in and being able to scout and identify talent. It's like being the GM for a team that always make the playoffs and always draft in the 25, 26, 27 range. But if you smart and know what you're doing, you still could get a great player. Like the Chiefs just won a Super Bowl in the first round, got Xavier Worthy. To me, he was one of the best receivers in the draft, and he fell to the Super Bowl champions. So it's still, that's going to be diamonds in the rough in this portal that it ain't a bidding war for. And these are the players. So hopefully SC get these kids on campus and seal the deal. Because right now, out of the top notch defensive tackles and nose tackles, only Derek Harmon is looking at us. And Derek Harmon by himself will still have me not feeling too great about the defensive line. I mean, that first unit, like if we just get Derek Harmon, that first unit gonna be solid though, right? But what about the depth? We gonna either wear them players out, or if injury hits, we gonna be hurt. Or we will just have to rotate and play players. And when it will be a situation where Bear and Derek Harmon ain't on the field because they getting rest, we gonna look like a whole different defense. They gonna be holding on for dear life until they get back out here. You know what I'm saying? I don't want it like that. And I don't want to put that much pressure on the starting defensive line unit. Because in the third and fourth quarter, now they finna get pushed around still, even though they ballers and then they ain't like that with them. They're gonna be so many reps in and so tired, they might not be performing at their level. I want to keep Bear, and if we get Derek Harmon at their A+ level, but they ain't winning out there. So even if we get Harmon, we still need to look at these kids. So Trojan family, tell me what y'all think, man. Like, I want to grab all of them, at least get them on. You know what I'm saying? I want to grab all 5 of these. We at 80 scholarships, so we can't get Derek Harmon. And even if we do get Derek Harmon, then I at least need 4 of these. Right? I need 45. I'm bringing y'all that. So I'll take CJ West since he already proven. Will Norman because he's a 4-star coming out of high school. Curtis Perry because he's a 4-star coming out of high school. Then I'll split between Darius Brown and Taffi Thomas. I'll go Darius Brown for the simple fact that he younger. You know what I'm saying? More years, more eligibility to work with and coach up. So until then, it's Carter Sports, it's USC, it's Trojan City. So let's go.